Hi, I'm Edward Grinnan, Editor-in-Chief of Guideposts, with the True Mysterious Ways from Jimmy Oliver Fleming of Chester, Virginia.
We've all had them, those inexplicable experiences that are more than just luck, more than mere coincidence. Here at Guideposts, we call them mysterious ways.
You've really got to get busy studying your Spanish, Jimmy thought to himself. It was a couple of weeks after Mother's Day, and he just put his grandchildren Yelena and Mason down for their nap. All his life he'd wanted to learn Spanish. He finally took a class when he was 56 years old, and while he enjoyed it, he wasn't learning it as quickly as he'd hoped. He just couldn't find the time to study. Yelena and Mason kept him too busy, and when they went home to their mom, Jimmy was too exhausted to open his textbook. "Lord," he'd often pray, "you've got to help motivate me." Instead of studying, Jimmy did things like watch TV with Yelena. In one of her favorite cartoons, Dora the Explorer, the lead character speaks Spanish words and phrases. Jimmy had trouble following even those basics. Maybe learning another language wasn't worth the bother. Besides, there was always something more important he had to be doing, like getting ready for his family's traditional Mother's Day celebration. Just that Mother's Day, he had gone to Alabama, where his 83-year-old mother lived. He didn't know how many more Mother's Days they'd be able to spend together. 50 of his relatives showed up that day. They all crowded into the living room, talking, laughing, and singing. Jimmy wanted to preserve this moment. "We should tape ourselves," he said. Jimmy's nephew, Chris, piped up. "I've got a recorder, hang on." He dashed out of the room, came back, and set up his machine. Together they sang his mother some of her favorite songs. Afterward, Chris handed Jimmy the cassette. "Don't worry about giving it back," he told Jimmy. "There's nothing else on it except me messing around with my guitar." Now, back home 2 weeks later, Jimmy remembered the tape. He put it on. First he heard his family sing. Then he heard Chris say, "Es las 3:47. It's 3:47. Chris practicing Spanish? It was almost as if he were telling Jimmy that he needed to practice too. "But Lord, where will I find the time?" he thought. He looked at the clock on the stove. Right now, it was 3:47 p.m.